Boom. All right. EJ, let's do the fucking thing.
Right on.
How are you, brother?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing good, doing good.
Awesome.
Appreciate you sitting there while I got everything all set up. Trying to move as fast as I can.
It's good. It's nice to watch the process.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I can see your eyes. You're like, "What is this?" And then like the room just transforms.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you done podcasting before?
No.
No, first one. Love it.
You popped my
Popped your cherry.
podcast cherry.
Oh, dude. All right, let's do this. All right, so I think we already talked a little bit off air, but for the folks listening, we had the homie Joe Marquez hook us up.
Mm-hmm.
Had Joe on the podcast prior. He's like the yoga jiu-jitsu guru these days.
Yeah.
And you're like a badass ultra runner. You play music. You're an artist.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more we can tap into, dude. But,
Absolutely.
I'm excited to have you here, man.
Thank you very much.
So what got you into running crazy long distances? Were you like an athlete growing up or anything?
I've always been athletic, but I never played sports growing up, mostly because my parents didn't want to pay for it.
Oh, really?
So like the closest thing was just like playing with the kids on the street.
Okay.
Playing hockey, soccer, baseball, that kind of stuff. But as far as running goes, I was going to the gym a lot. I used to be pretty jacked. I'm 5'7". I was like almost 180 pounds, just like muscle.
You were jacked.
I was jacked, and but I wasn't happy. So I was just going to the gym after work. I'd get off work at 10 at night, and then I'd just go to Powerhouse Gym and just grind it out.
So were you doing more powerlifting at that time, or was it kind of bodybuilder-based workouts?
It was like powerlifting.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, Joe would go with me a few times, and he spotted me on my last like big bench. And I can't remember how much it was. It was like the bar and I had 4 plates on there and then 2 10s on each side. I don't even know how much that is, but I did it like twice.
Like 4 plates total, like 2 plates on each side?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 plates on each side is 225, and then you had 2 10s additional to that?
Additionally, yeah.
So that's 40 so you had 265 pounds there. Dude, that's a lot of weight.
Yeah, I was pushing weight, man. I was
Yeah,
pushing
dude.
weight. I was always stronger on top than the bottom. But yeah, I got into
Skipping
running.
leg day, huh?
Yeah, skipping the legs. I didn't skip them. I just wasn't as strong there. But that's changed a lot for the past, I guess 8 years when I started running.
Okay.
But
so
yeah.
this running journey, I mean, it's been a while now, but it's
been a while.
It's not where you started.
It's not where I started. Yeah, it was basically just to get outside, because I was always inside. I wasn't happy. I wasn't getting any like nourishment from nature, and I felt there was something missing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I went to Forest Park, and I told myself I'm going to run this whole park one day. It's a 6-mile loop, and so I tried and flopped, just totally flopped. And so I was like, I need to change something in my life, and that's where it started.
How far do you think you ran that first time?
I think I probably did 2 or 3 miles.
You got 2 or 3 miles in before you quit?
But it was also just like a lot of walking.
Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't straight.
Okay.
Yeah,
So there's some walking in there?
Definitely.
And then after 3 miles, it was just...
It was like, yo,
toast.
I'm done, but I'm going to get better at this. It's like, because I loved it. I felt insane. Like I felt an endorphin rush I never felt before. Yeah.
So growing up, you never really played sports outside of like just in the neighborhood with the friends.
Yeah, just that was it.
Not really an athlete.
Yeah,
in
nothing.
that regard.
Yeah, in that regard, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was gym class. I was always weight training. I did taekwondo in high school.
Okay.
So I had a background in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had some athletics going, and then but weightlifting was kind of that thing.
It was that thing.
That you gravitated. I think
Yeah.
a lot of young dudes definitely gravitate towards weightlifting, especially early on, right? Because that's the thing that will mold your body like nothing else really will.
Yeah.
Like, it feels good to get strong.
Feels good, and like just being a pretty quiet kid and small. Like that was my way to just like show that I'm tough.
Okay. Yeah.
Like getting picked on and stuff. So it was like, you know what? I was looking up to Bruce Lee a lot, and I was like, man, I'm gonna get strong.
Yeah.
I'm gonna prove myself that I'm not one to be fucked with.
Dude, Bruce Lee's the man, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
In like a lot of regards, just mindset just kind of shows like what is the capability of a human when they put their mind to something and they put in the work.
Hmm.
It's pretty spectacular what you can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
A lot of people fucking find inspiration in Bruce Lee, I think.
yeah. Like you said, even his philosophy
Yeah.
and just like, not having a limit
Yeah.
on yourself to keep going, even when you think you need to stop, just keep going. You never know what can happen after that.
Right. Now, were you a fan of the movies or just of him?
Oh yeah, a fan of the movies too.
Okay.
Man, I had Enter the Dragon on all the time.
Dude.
So I'd have it on. I'm doing like sit-ups
Yeah.
and stuff.
Get you all pumped up. Dude, it's a
Yeah.
good film,
It was
man.
a great film.
There was a time where I worked as a third shift security guard,
Oh yeah.
and I
Nice.
watched a lot of movies during that period of my
Mhm.
life. I read a lot, and I watched a lot of movies.
Mhm.
And I think I went through every Bruce Lee movie that I could find at the time.
Yeah.
And dude, it's pretty cool to like
Yeah.
see some of the stuff that he was doing.
Mhm.
I mean, he was an early adapter of MMA.
Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
know, I mean, he was
Yeah.
doing, he was mixing styles and the stylist
Mhm.
style long before a lot of people did.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude.
And even like the gloves.
Yeah, the
design
gloves,
of the
dude.
gloves,
Yeah,
yeah.
wasn't it Enter the Dragon? He had MMA gloves on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
dude. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's good inspiration though. So that
Mhm.
kind of got you into just wanting to do more. Started getting you into weightlifting.
Mhm.
Started trying to help you with your confidence. I imagine.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
building from there, and
Just
then
building from there.
you're just feeling empty though. Why do you think you're feeling so empty?
Yeah, just being inside all the time. Yeah, so like I work in the dark as a massage therapist, so I'm always in the dark, and then I get off work, I go to the gym, I'm inside. So I really just felt, I just didn't feel connected to nature, and I knew what was missing once I got out there, and I was like, and I heard the birds, I felt the trees, I felt the wind, and I was like, dude, this is it, this is what I'm missing.
Mm-hmm.
And that led me into like trail running more, and that's where like the whole ultra thing like really started to develop.
Trail running, I love trail running.
Yeah,
It's way better
Yeah.
than running on the pavement. I think it's better for your
Absolutely.
joints.
it is. It's better for. I think it is way better for your joints because you're getting multiple movements of pretty much all of your body parts. You're using it in all angles
Right.
as opposed to just going forward.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get to utilize like pretty much your whole body.
Yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
more stabilization. I mean,
Mhm.
the ground isn't even by any stretch. But
Right.
since it's also not on concrete, it's not like as hard of pounding
Right.
like
Yeah.
on your knees and whatnot.
Right.
So yeah, it's trail, and then obviously you're just in nature.
Yeah.
That's always a good feeling.
Yeah, yeah. And when I trail run, I don't listen to music or anything. It's just me and what's going on around me.
Just you and the nature, you and the trail.
But when you're on the road, I gotta listen to something a lot of times, just because it gets so monotonous. But
Yeah.
that's okay too. Sometimes, just
Yeah.
to put in the work.
I mean, when you're on the trail and there's not as much distraction,
Hmm.
I mean, those thoughts can kind of be overpowering sometimes, but it's
Yeah.
just you and your thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you start running without music because of Goggins? Or you did that on your own?
Yeah, that was just on my own.
You're just a savage on your own, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was important to just listen to my breathing and just focus on like what's going on
Yeah.
within myself. Yeah, I think that's just really important, and it becomes meditative a lot of times,
Yeah.
especially in the later miles of a race, or even on a long run that can range from, 15 to 20 miles. You could be out on the trail for like 4 hours sometimes.
That's a long time.
Yeah,
to be
and that's
out
just
there.
a training run. It's not even a race. But yeah, the longest race I did was a 100-miler in 2020, and I was in my own head for 31 hours.
That's a long time.
It's a long time.
How did you train for that? Like, what training look like?
So that was during the pandemic, so I had a lot of time. So I was pretty much just running almost every day.
Really?
Yeah, if I wasn't outside, I was on the treadmill. It's like once a day. I wasn't doing double runs, so I wasn't running like twice a day or anything. But I just had time to enjoy my time on feet, and so I would just make these routes from my house to like all over the neighborhood to just explore.
Did you like set your training up so that way it's like one day is a shorter day, one day is a longer day, or like how did you structure because I think of it in the sense of from like a fighting background. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, we have like a camp. We have usually like an 8 to 12 week camp. It's like, all
Yeah.
right, so how am I gonna kind of plan my practices and training and
Mm-hmm.
everything that I need to do around this, 8 to 12 weeks? Like,
Yeah.
how did you do that?
Yeah. Very similar. So, like for example, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday would be easier runs between like 6 and 8 miles. Yeah, and then Thursday would be a like a fast day, like a workout day. So you would generally run a shorter amount of time, but you would be working harder.
Mm.
Yeah, and then Friday generally would be like a shorter run. Let's say like 3 to 5 miles, and then Saturday would be like your long run to really help build that aerobic base. And that could range from, in my training, it was usually between like 8 and 20 miles. I
Okay.
hardly ever went over 20 miles because like after you go, I think it's like after 3.5 hours, your muscles start to break down too much. And so you're not really gaining um, any of the benefits from that. So
Yeah.
it's best to just,
Kind of start hitting
sit
those
there.
those diminishing returns at that
Diminishing
point.
returns. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I would set it up, and then Sunday I would rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, like one long run a week.
Yeah. One long run a week, and then one hard run a week
Okay.
in the middle of the week, usually Wednesday or Thursday.
And that hard run, you said you're trying to just like a higher pace, almost like a sprint, like it's more like a sprinting
Exactly.
run.
Yeah, more like a sprinting run, or we call it like a tempo run.
Okay.
So you would do, you would like warm up for about a mile and a half, run maybe 20 to 25 minutes, like not as hard as you can, but pretty close to like threshold, and then you just cool down, and that'd be your day.
Okay. So it's a much
Yeah.
shorter training day, just higher
Yeah,
intensity.
just higher intensity.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's
But those are like a lot of people don't want to do those. I'm guilty of that a
Yeah.
lot of times. I'd rather just run long that day.
Yeah.
But, it pays off.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. I mean, the fact that you're probably feeling that resistance is probably shows you like you should be doing that thing.
Mhm.
Because that's where the benefit is, even though it
Yeah.
probably has like the ultimate suck factor.
Yeah. Yeah, cuz you have anxiety wanting to or knowing that you have to put in that work the next day and you're like I really don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But once you're in it, you're good.
Dude, what's going through your mind when you're about to run 100 miles?
Oh man. Well, I've attempted it twice and I've succeeded once. Um, That's a good question. I think it's just the one thing I worry about for sure is like, am I gonna survive? It's like I hope I survive this, and because there have been a few times during that last one I did where I slipped up and I wasn't paying attention. I almost like fell off the side of a cliff.
Oh shit.
Yeah, or I heard things in the woods that could have been threatening, and I'm by myself.
Right.
But in preparation for 100, it's kind of foggy, honestly, because I just know that my goal is just to get to aid station as healthy as possible, which is usually between like 5 and 8 miles. So my focus is just to stay within myself, know my breathing, and not push hard, and know that it is possible to get it done, and things will go wrong. But how do I navigate those problems on the spot?
Mm.
So yeah, like all those things are just going through my head. How am I gonna feel? What can I do when I know things are gonna go wrong, because they will? Make sure that my nutrition's good. Am I hydrating? Are the people that are around me supporting me, or are they not adding to what I'm trying to do? Because sometimes there can be individuals that support you or they don't. So you just want to have a good system.
Right.
Yeah.
That's important in a lot of different endeavors.
Hmm.
Just I'm a massive just believer in constantly taking audit of the energy that you allow around you,
Hmm.
because sometimes people act like they're your friends and really they're just trying to stay close to you to see what you're doing. Like
Yeah.
that's it. Like they're not really adding or anything.
That's true.
They'll take away if anything.
Yeah.
So you gotta audit the people that you allow around you.
Yeah. So in ultra running, we have what we call a crew. And so you select people that will help you in your race.
Okay.
And so it really helps to have people that you trust,
Yeah.
or people that you've worked with before. So I have a couple of people in my life that I just love dearly, and um, even if they can't run with me, just having them there as like as just like guides and support just means the world. And like
Yeah.
every time I get to see them when I'm feeling just totally broken, it just lifts my spirit, and I can keep going.
That's so interesting, right? How you can kind of be in a place where you almost feel like your gas tank is empty.
Yeah,
And then maybe you see a certain person or even hear
yeah.
like a certain song,
Certain song. Yeah,
dude, and it's like, boom, I'm feeling it now.
yeah,
Like you're feeling energized, dude. It's so
yeah,
crazy, man. The human
yeah.
potential is just,
Mhm,
it blows me away
mhm.
in so many ways.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. Music is a big part of like the road stuff. For example, the last race I did was called the Minnehaha 6-hour race at Minnehaha Park in Sunset Hills, Missouri. And yeah, man, I made a playlist on Spotify. It was like 7 hours long, just in case something happened and I didn't want to listen to a particular song. But I made sure to put music in there that was motivating for me. And yeah, it honestly, like when the certain song hit, it either like brought up a memory or the lyrics were triggered something in me to like be like, yo, you can keep going. Everything's cool. Just relax. You can push. You're gonna be fine.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Is there like a particular thought that's going through your head when you're doing these? Like for example, whenever I run,
Hmm.
um, I'm always just like just one foot in front of the other, just put one
Yeah.
foot in front of the other. Like it's just
Uh huh.
like that's it. Just keep doing, just
Just
keep
keep
moving these
going.
legs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think like that, or is there anything that kind of keeps you going?
Yeah. I just think I think about my form, and I'm like, all right, how are things feeling? So I'll gauge from like my feet up. Like,
Okay.
how hard am I hitting the ground? Am I hitting it too hard? What's my cadence like? How's my rhythm? How's my breathing? So if I focus like on my body and what's going on, it allows me to kind of adjust as I'm moving forward to on things I need to change. So it's like, in a sense, like me being a perfectionist kind of helps me in running because I'm just like, what do I need to adjust to keep going forward?
Mm.
So I think about that a lot. But yeah, one foot in front of the other. As a friend of mine always says, anything you can do 10 seconds at a time.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true.
that's good stuff.
That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
So he's just like that. That's super helpful. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I can run for 10 seconds. I can walk for 10 seconds. I can do that. And
Yeah.
that'll get you there.
I like that.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, you can do damn near anything for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, I imagine those longer races, it helps just to just kind of break it down into smaller, manageable,
Mhm.
kind of sections and just focus on like the now and the present and just
Yeah.
not get too far into your head.
Yeah.
Because your mind can be like your best friend and also your worst enemy all at the same
Absolutely.
time.
All the same time.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, it's
dude.
all happening simultaneously. All the good, all the bad. It's all just happening.
Mhm.
So you kind of just have to be like, where am I going to pick from?
Mhm.
It's like, am I going to pick from the good? Am I going to pick from the bad? And if I pick from the bad, sometimes that's beneficial. But it only lasts for so long.
Right.
It's like anger. It's like, oh
Mhm.
yeah, if I'm angry right now and like this will help me push, but it also will hurt me later.
Yeah. Dude, I think of it as like just that anger, like just kind of like tapping into like the darker energy.
Hmm.
Yeah, like that can be powerful, but it's definitely more fleeting
It's
than
very
something
fleeting.
that's positive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can only be like, fuck those people for so long.
I know. I know, right? Yeah, because you're really only hurting yourself
Yeah.
when you do that.
Yeah.
But it's also hard to realize that in the moment when you're so clouded. But yeah, man.
So on race day, like what's prep like? I mean, like what goes into whether it's like a 6 hour race or a 100 mile race or just even a
Mhm.
marathon, like what goes into that? Because you mentioned, obviously hydration, food. Is there food involved? Like
Yeah.
what all goes into like a successful race?
So, like, you mean like on race day?
Yeah, like on race day, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like what kind of things are you needing? Because like you hear things, people, for example, they'll go and like they run a marathon, let's say, and
Mhm.
like they've never done it before, and like
Yeah.
maybe their nipples will be chapped. Or
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah,
you'd be
yeah.
like it's shit
Uh-huh.
like that, dude. Like
Yeah.
what are like the tricks and like what kind of things do people need to like think about?
Uh huh.
Because I've thought about it's definitely one of those things I want to do. Two things: one, run a marathon, just because
Mhm.
I feel like it's. I don't want to say it's easy, but I feel like it's one of the most obtainable things.
Absolutely.
Like why
Yeah.
if you want to do it, you can do that. And then the
Yes.
other thing is like do an Ironman triathlon.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah.
it's like I had some friends in high school. I say friends in high school who were like, I told them I wanted to do that, and they're like, you can't ever do that. And then here I am. I'm 34, and it's like, you know, all these years later, it's still I'm like, I'm gonna fucking do that.
Yeah.
Just because all those assholes said I couldn't.
You said you couldn't. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
But
bike can be a powerful tool.
It can be, but either way, there's things that go into like having a successful race day that maybe people don't think about. Like, what are the things that you need to? Is there Vaseline that you need, or like what? Like
That's
what
a good
helps?
question. So, first and foremost is like to get all your things ready the night before your race. So get your gear ready, get your bibs on your shirt or your shorts or whatever you're doing. Get your nutrition ready, and in the morning, like for example, what I do is I'll eat breakfast, I'll drink coffee, do what I got to do, and then I use this stuff called squirrel's nut butter.
Okay.
It's like a salve, but I think it's like coconut oil based. So it tends to just like stay on a lot better than like the Body Glide stuff that's a little bit too slippery. But man, I just like I lube up my feet.
Oh, do you?
With it, yeah. And then I wear these socks called Injinji socks, and they're like toe socks. So that they work for me because they help keep the blisters away.
Okay.
Right.
Your toes aren't rubbing together.
Yeah, they're not rubbing together. So doing that, and I have thick thighs. So yeah, I get it all up in there.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean, TMI, but you got to get it like in the other areas too.
All your crevices, right?
All the crevices, man. All the crevices. Like, don't be shy with yourself and just get in there.
Yeah.
Because trust me, they will chafe.
Then you're gonna be miserable after.
And you're gonna be miserable, and that shower's gonna suck.
Oh yeah, that water hits you.
When that water hits you, it's gonna be painful. So it's stuff like that, just like getting the squirrel's nut butter in all the areas you think are gonna chafe. Yeah, nipples. Put Band-Aids on if you need to.
Yeah, I've seen people do that.
Yeah, yeah. So all of that stuff is super important to do, because when you're actually running, everything's gonna become annoying at some point. Yeah. So even like your shoes not fitting right, or your shoe coming untied, like just get everything ready.
Yeah, because otherwise you probably just focus on like the little things.
The little things are just gonna be super annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like make sure that you tried everything before race day. Like the rule is you never want to try something new on race day. So whatever that is, it could be a shirt, it could be a hat, it could be sunglasses, all of that stuff. Every little thing, make sure you've done it before. In my opinion, at least like 3 or 4 weeks before.
Okay.
I think that's enough time. Definitely don't try new shoes.
Yeah, don't go buy new shoes.
Yeah, don't go buy new shoes. I think having like 30 to 40 miles already like locked in those shoes is that's a good number. That's what I've gone by. I've made the mistake of only having like 10 to 20 and paying the price later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shoes are just too stiff.
Yeah, or like your feet will swell, and you want to make sure you have enough room in the shoe.
Right.
Yeah. Or them being too stiff in the long run too. Yeah.
Dude, that's a problem that a lot of people have, like who aren't even runners.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because our feet swell by the end of the day.
Yeah.
And most people are typically wearing shoes that are too small for them.
Yeah. So yeah, typically on a running shoe, you want to go up a half size bigger than your street shoe.
Yeah.
Too. So I used to work at a running store. I'm like, why do I have to do that? My feet look huge. It's like, trust me, when you're running or later in a race, you're gonna be happy you had that extra space.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's reasons for that.
Absolutely.
For sure, dude.
Yeah.
I'm a big stickler about shoes because like the modern shoe isn't really designed for our foot. Like it has too narrow of a toe box for most people, which when people have like bunions and different things, like it's because your shoes are too fucking small.
Right.
Like like shoes look cool and they're just less functional. So like I typically do just more wide toe boxes. I do a lot of like barefoot shoes.
Yeah, those are good.
So like I'm like a stickler on shoes.
I totally agree.
Yeah, like a lot of people just aren't aware.
Yeah, man. I wear I wear a whole lot of different brands, but there's a brand particularly called Ultra.
Okay.
And they designed the shoe to be the shape of your foot, so you're not getting all those constrictions in the toe box. But yeah, those are a great option for people that prefer a wider fitting shoe, or a shoe that doesn't fight against your foot.
Would you just find those at like a specialty shoe store, like like
Yeah,
a running store,
for
or
sure.
okay,
Yeah, any running store in the area will carry them.
okay? Would you find those at like just like a normal sporting goods store, probably, or no?
I'm not sure actually. I'm not really sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's cool.
I haven't been to
No
one in a
worries.
while.
No worries, dude. So it's race day. Like, what?
Mhm.
Obviously, you said like you kind of have a meal prior, but like,
Yeah.
what? I mean, do you do like the gel packs, or are you like sipping on something that has some sugar in it, or like
Yeah.
what's that nutrition look like for you on the race day?
Yeah, so during the race, it's usually like a carbohydrate drink that has sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it has other things in there, but generally it's like 2 scoops of that in like a 12-ounce bottle. So that's about like 100, about 100 to 150 calories, let's say. And for this last race I did, I used this stuff called Tailwind.
What's that?
It's a carbohydrate drink or a caloric drink. It's kind of like if you took Gatorade and you just added more calories to it.
Got it.
So it's kind of fruity, but it also has sodium and potassium in it to help prevent cramping.
Yeah.
So that's super important to do. So yeah, when you're drinking that, usually I'll finish one bottle in a couple hours.
Okay.
And on top of that, if it's really hot, I'll take salt tabs, just because like I'll literally be caked in salt,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to replenish that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, all the water I'm drinking, I'm just flushing everything out. So that's really important to drink something that has salt and potassium. I prefer Tailwind or Goo. Goo Roctane is it's also a Tailwind type calorie drink, carb drink, very very similar, but that stuff has a little bit more. I think it has different minerals in it, and it has BCAAs
Yeah.
to help prevent
Okay.
muscle damage. So not only do I do that, but I also do gels.
Okay.
It sounds like a lot, right?
Well, I mean, you're burning through
You're burning
so
stuff,
much,
yeah.
dude. I mean, anything that you're putting in your body on that day, like you're
Mhm.
probably using immediately.
Absolutely. And so sipping on the drink and then taking a gel or even like real food, whatever your preference is. So it could be a handful of M&Ms, it could be Skittles, it
Yeah.
could be Snickers,
Something easy to digest.
something easy. But I like gels just because they're fast. So I use this stuff called Huma, and it has chia seeds in it.
Oh, cool.
It's inspired by the Tarahumara Indians, yeah, in Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah, so they would make like this mix with chia seeds to help with the running,
Mm.
basically. And so it's inspired by that, but it comes like in different flavors and all that, and that's about 100 calories a pouch.
Oh, that's legit.
Yeah. So yeah, even if I don't want to, like I have to force myself to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to get that energy blast.
Just
really.
to get it, yeah. Because man, like once you stop getting enough calories, you will pay for it in the end. For
Yeah,
sure.
I imagine. Dude, I went on a one long bike ride. I think we probably rode over 30 miles that day.
Nice.
I mean,
That sounds fun.
I'm not like an avid biker. Like the guy I was riding with, this is his shit. He's a biker. It's my
That's
friend.
cool.
It's my friend. He's a biker, and we went on a long ride. We rode from. He was just living over here by Creve Coeur Lake
Mhm.
Park over there. So he's like, so we basically went from there, and we rode all the way out to Defiance
Nice.
and
Man.
back.
It's a good ride.
And dude, on the way back, my legs completely just zonked out.
Uh-huh.
I'm just like, dude, I've never felt this bad ever. And then I think back to like you see videos of people like trying to get to the finish line of a long
Yeah,
race,
just-
and they're
yeah.
just like, I can't, like their body just
Yeah.
completely involuntarily gives out on
Yeah.
them, and they just cannot move. I can
Yeah,
only
man.
imagine. I felt like shit on a bike. I can only imagine like how you would do when you're just trying to just walk. It was
Mhm.
brutal, dude. I just had to like stop, and I was like, I just got to stand here for a second, dude. Like I
Mhm.
cannot move. It was bad. I didn't know if I was gonna make it back, to be honest.
I believe it. I believe it. Were you not taking anything?
No,
Just
so I typically I intermittent fast, mostly just because like I'm just not hungry in the mornings.
I hear you.
So I don't
Yeah.
usually eat until noon,
Mm-hmm.
and we went on. So I fasted that entire ride.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
like I was,
just like depleted
dude,
everything.
I was pretty smoked by the end of it. I'm like, I
Yeah.
probably should have ate like a banana or something before this
Yeah.
ride, but it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
at least I did it.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, it just goes to show you that it's possible.
Yeah, it can be done. It felt like I was going through hell, but
Yeah.
it can definitely be done. But
Mhm.
it just kind of speaks to like how important those
Mhm.
micronutrients are, and just
Absolutely.
getting quick glucose when you need it, and
Exactly.
whenever you're really pushing your body to those limits,
Mhm.
dude. Like those
Mhm.
things are important. You mentioned getting your electrolytes in, right? Like I
Yeah.
think most people don't get enough sodium as it is. He's kind of been
Mhm.
labeled as a bad guy.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
dude, sodium, magnesium, potassium, like we need
You need
those
it.
things,
Yeah.
dude.
For your muscles to function, you need that
Yeah,
stuff.
it's
Yeah.
it's just I take these little electrolyte packs called I think it's called Drink Element.
Oh yeah, I've heard of
Yeah,
that stuff.
and it's
Yeah.
just a sodium, magnesium, potassium, and
You like it?
yeah, every day. I pretty much I'll do that with like an emergency
Mhm.
drink or package, and then like I'll throw like some creatine, glutamine in there.
Mhm.
Usually have that every day.
Nice, man. It's
Yeah.
a solid plan.
I just after many years of just being an athlete, I try to make sure I do everything to take care of my body.
Yeah.
Just give myself what I need. You mind moving this? I know it's probably like a little just so
There
we
we go.
can catch your sound a little bit better. Appreciate you. But yeah, dude. I mean, just getting those micronutrients are super important.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a race to where like you didn't? Did you learn that the hard way? I guess is probably a
I
better way
did. I
to.
did learn that the hard way. Yeah, that was St. Louis Marathon. I think 2017. It was in April, I think, and it was exceptionally hot that day. And I remember like my quads just like locking up at
Mm.
mile, I think like 16. So I had 10 more miles to go. And yeah, I was out of it. I was toast after that
Oh,
because
dude.
I didn't have anything. Well, everything I needed I was taking just wasn't working anymore.
It's
Like it was too late.
too.
I felt
Yeah,
like
it's too late. Too
it
little,
was
too
too
late at that
late.
point.
Yeah, so maybe it wasn't because I have been in situations where my nutrition was crap, but like mind over matter.
Mm-hmm.
Just being like, okay, I'm cramping. If I just don't focus on it, it'll go away, and sometimes it does. So that's like the kind of like the game you play with yourself too.
I bet you really learn how to listen to your body.
Yeah.
Like what is like to your point, like maybe you're kind of starting to cramp a little bit, like in your side. It's like, oh, that's something that'll probably go away.
Mm.
Or if it's like a legitimate thing, it's like, no, I cannot push through this anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. There becomes times when you just can't. My first 100-miler attempt in 2019 is at this race called Tunnel Hill. It's like running on the Katy Trail,
Okay.
so it's pretty flat for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to 67 miles and I just couldn't bend my leg anymore, and it wasn't because of my nutrition or anything. I was just cashed,
Yeah.
and I was like I could walk the rest of this race, but that just sounds
That'd be
so
that'd be
ridiculous.
so miserable.
Yeah, I'm like I'm not ending my first 100-miler like this.
Yeah.
Just totally just walking. That's not my style. I'm not going out like that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Just learn to call it and
learn to call it.
yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta call it. But that's only happened one time so far. I'm sure there'll be other times.
I mean, if you keep pushing yourself, then I'm sure it'll definitely happen.
Yeah.
You ever think you're gonna do I don't know, like one of these like 240-mile races or anything?
Oh yeah, like there's a 250 miler, I think sometime next year. This is kind of like the new thing with ultra running is like the 200 milers and above.
Yeah, dude. These guys are so gnarly. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. More power to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, it doesn't really interest me right now. Maybe down the line it will. A good friend of mine just did a backyard ultra, what they call it. So you run, I think you run like every hour. So you have to complete a loop every hour.
Oh, okay.
And he just did 200 miles.
Whoa.
And I think, yeah. And that was Saturday and Sunday. Which is just incredible
That's
that
insane,
you can
dude.
do that,
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
It's inspiring. But I'm not there yet. I'm still trying to get comfortable in the 100-miler myself.
Yeah.
And my goal next year is to go back and revisit that distance and just try my best and see what happens.
Dude, and all this just started because you felt like you weren't connected enough with nature. You were feeling like shit, And you're like, I just got to get outside and start running.
Yeah.
And then here we are now.
And here we are.
You're running 6-hour races and 100-milers, and you're full on ultra runner, dude.
Yeah. It's just it just kind of happened, you know. Like the shorter stuff never really interested me. Like doing like the 5Ks, 10Ks,
Yeah.
half marathons. I was like, man, you know what? Like those are cool, but I never felt like I wasn't attracted to those distances. Maybe it was like the aesthetic of it. Until I started to run on the trails, and I met the trail runners, and I met ultra runners, and they're just different people, you know. And I was like, these are my people. Like we're just a little different.
You know, you got to be a little bit more intense and crazy to want to do something like
I
that.
think you do. I think you have to have a little bit of that crazy for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, it's a lot of us are. I guess we're just more introverted too.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of runners in general. But it's like our physical outlet of ultra running helps us express our physicality in a way that kind of shows like our spirit. So some people find their physical outlet through martial arts, for example, but for me, it was ultra running.
Yeah, I think as long as you just have a physical outlet,
Mm-hmm.
you know, is ultra running, is that a sport where you probably see more older people doing it?
Yeah, it's been a lot of the older people that would do it, but it's getting younger and younger.
Is it?
Yeah, like some of these guys are just going so fast these days. It's nuts.
Yeah. It can be pretty mind-blowing to see how fast somebody can run.
Man, yeah, there's this guy Jim Walmsley. He runs this race called Western States 100 in California, and he holds the record. I think he beat the record like 3 times, but he does it in like a little over 14 hours.
This guy's an animal.
He's an animal.
Dude. And I guess, is it always the same course?
On that one, I think it is. Yeah.
So that probably helps him
That probably
continue
helps,
to like
yeah.
beat his own time.
Yeah, to plan it out and
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Well, and also it's not as new. You know,
Mhm.
like when it's the first time you're doing it, like you don't necessarily know this part of the trail or this
Right.
part.
Yeah.
But yeah, I imagine that it's being that it's such a mentally driven sport. Obviously, there's the physical part of it, but I mean, you're just there with your thoughts for hours on end.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to have a certain level of mental strength to do that, and I think you tend to get mentally stronger as you get older.
Mm-hmm.
You start, you know, dealing with life and hardships and different things, and it just makes
Absolutely.
you a tougher person,
Yeah. Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, tap into that for sure. It can get pretty emotional when you're out racing,
Yeah,
or just being out on like a long run, just that grind. You know, because you get so in your head. And for me, I think about like my family. I think about my friends. I think about my mom a lot because she passed away in 2020, and I was like taking care of her during those last days, and her just like trying to do things and just like struggling made me just like not take movement for granted.
yeah.
Like how lucky we are to just like, for example, just to walk out the door.
For real.
That can be a struggle for people.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, I think about that when I'm in these races, and like how lucky I am to be doing this.
That's true.
Just grateful.
Yeah, that's right, dude. I mean, I think especially when you're young, I mean, you take everything for granted. You feel like you're gonna live forever,
Right.
right? But dude, this body that we have is fleeting, and like our physical ability, you can be the most in shape, badass dude when you're young, and I've seen a lot of those guys like when they're older look like a completely different human. You know what I mean? For one reason or another, like maybe they just didn't keep up with it, or there's things just outside of your control, dude. Like being youthful and having a body that works is not a guarantee. And even people who are young, there's a lot of people who would give anything just to be able to go like train and work out.
Yeah.
I try to tell that to my kids because
Mhm.
they don't like to work out if they don't have to. Like
Uh-huh.
especially my daughter. Like they do sports and stuff, but it's like I'm like, listen, we need to go do something
Mhm.
because kids just want to be on their iPads all day watching fucking YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, dude, like you don't understand how many people would give anything just to have the physical ability, just to like get up and go for a walk,
Yeah, for sure.
or lift weights or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
I was watching this movie with Mark Wahlberg called Father Stew.
I haven't seen that yet.
Long story short, like I mean, it's about this real guy, and at one point, he was like a failed boxer, and then he kind of got into acting, had a terrible accident, and then he decided to become a father or a priest. And then he was like, at least in the movie, he was like playing basketball, and then he like fell down and he couldn't get up anymore. And it turned out like he had some sort of, I can't remember what it was, but something affecting his muscles, basically made him paralyzed.
Gotcha.
I mean, he died at 50.
That's horrible.
But it's like one of those things where it's like at the end of the movie, they're showing all these pictures of him young and vibrant and like in great shape. And then at the end of his life, it's like his body just gave out on him. Who knows if there was things that he was doing in life that kind of maybe led to that, but maybe there wasn't. You see that happen all the time where it's like, how the fuck did this person get cancer? Or how did they develop this thing? Or who knows? It's just this meat suit, man.
Yeah.
It's weak as shit.
It's a fragile thing.
Yeah, it's like,
you gotta take care of it.
Yeah.
Gotta take care of it. But yeah, I mean, like you said, just to add to what you were saying is like, yeah, you see these people just, it's a weird example, but let's take like Arnold Schwarzenegger, for example.
Yeah.
And you see pictures, I mean, obviously just pictures, never seen it in person. And you're like, oh, peak physical fitness. And now he's like kind of,
Yeah.
like he just looks like an old guy.
He's an old guy, kind of flabby a little bit.
A little flabby, and that's just the nature of it,
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be a pretty corpse. I want to keep going.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
It's just wild.
You got to take care of your body, but also understand that it will fall apart.
Yeah.
And I've learned that as I've gotten older. Obviously there's things I just can't do as well.
Yeah. Dude, it's so weird. Once you start getting your 30s, dude, recovery is a lot slower.
Yeah.
Like I just had surgery on my knee. I had
That's right.
torn meniscus, and thankfully it wasn't fully torn. So like bounce back is not terrible, but it's like, man, I'm not in my 20s.
Yeah.
It's not the same, dude.
Right. It's not. And in a way, it's kind of good because it makes you learn how to use your body in a new way. For example, I've been dealing with an ankle issue since last September, and it wasn't until I got help from my cousin he's a student to be a physical therapist, and he gave me these exercises to do, and I mean I swear by it, man.
Yeah.
Like it helped me tremendously, but he was very open to me about it and said, listen, it's not gonna be 100% ever again. And I'm like, thank you for telling me that, though, honestly, because I know that now. Before I would have been like, oh, it'll go away. But the fact is, it's just not going to. It's just something I'm going to have to deal with.
Yeah, you just have to just learn to adjust.
Just to adjust, like, the way I run. And, just having to live with it and be like, all right, well, some days it's going to be better than others. And I have to do the exercises probably forever.
Yeah.
If I want to continue running.
It's just the maintenance for the body.
It's maintenance, yeah. And the maintenance just gets more and more.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Especially because when you're doing something as repetitive as running, I mean, it's going to lend to like a repetitive stress injury.
Yeah.
You're going to end up I always think of like in grappling, for example, we everything's so in front of us, so you get super tight in certain areas, and like you have to balance that out, right? And like doing auxiliary lifts and different things to kind of like balance out the thing that you're doing all the time. So if I'm always here in front of me and like I'm hunched over, it's like, all right, man, I need to start maybe doing some things to work my back and help straighten that out, as an example.
Exactly.
So it's just those little things that help balance out that thing that you're always doing.
Yeah, especially with running, a lot of us just run, but I've incorporated more weight training, and even like jumping on the spin bike.
Okay.
And I think it's really helped me because this last race I did, this is the best I've ever felt after a run.
Really?
Yeah. Like I felt good, except for like my feet and my ankles are still They're not there yet.
Yeah.
It's funny because like all the pain started from like my shoulders down, and then each day I woke up, it got better.
Mm.
But like my feet are the what's like it's like what's left.
Yeah. Well, that's the root.
Well, they also they took the most pounding, the grounding forces of all that. But yeah, I'm hoping by tomorrow I'll be good to go. We'll see.
Do you ever think you'll switch to anything that's less impact on the body? Like just become maybe like you do biking more or you do swimming or just something that's less impact on the body, or is running it for you?
You know, I'm more intrigued by yoga these days. So just doing a lot of those movements,
Yeah.
I find just to be pretty helpful
Yeah.
in general, especially with my hips.
Dude, yoga's great.
Yoga's great, and yeah, I would definitely like to get more into that, and I am getting more into that. And with running, especially ultra running, the aspect I love most about it is just being outside and being in nature. So, yeah, hiking,
Yeah.
just being out there and like being like, okay, just slow down.
Yeah.
You don't have to run all the time. Just take in what's going on around you.
Yeah. You probably miss a lot more when you're running.
You miss a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually found that I missed a lot even when I'd ride my bike on the Katy Trail. I'm like, man, I never see any of this shit.
Yeah.
I'm so busy just like focusing forward.
Tunnel vision.
Tunnel vision, man.
Yeah.
And my peripheral vision's like totally gone.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice to just be like, oh my God, look at the beauty here. I never noticed these trees. I never noticed this water flowing. It's
Yeah.
nuts.
And we have a lot of just really nice just scenery and woods in Missouri. Like
Absolutely.
we're actually very fortunate. We have an awesome conservation department in Missouri where, man, there's a lot of great hiking and trails in the area.
100% agree, man. Me and Joe went to Arizona. We went to Tucson.
Oh, dope. How was that?
It was cool, man. It was cool, but very, very different from St. Louis.
Oh, yeah.
Like, dramatically different in so many ways, but I ran a lot of the trails there. And the moment I got back to St. Louis, the next day, I went to the woods. I had to go to the woods because running in Tucson, although it is beautiful, it's different. There's no coverage.
Yeah, it's barren, dude.
It's barren.
There's no vegetation at all,
Right.
dude. I mean, it's very pretty out there in the desert, but it's not the same.
It's not the same. And, dude, you just cook.
Yeah.
You just cook. You can't hide anywhere. It's just you and cacti. That's it. So immediately the next day, I got some sleep. I'm like, yo, I need to go to the trails. I need to be in the woods. And I felt like at that moment, I was like, this is my home.
Yeah.
Like, I love it here.
Yeah, dude, as humans, we need nature. Like, we, Deja and I, my wife, we went and unplugged, I don't know, a few weeks ago. We went out and just stayed at a cabin. And it just feels so good to just, like, not be around all the lights and all the cars and all the people and just hear woods, like the animals and whatever's out there. It's so much more relaxing. You just feel rejuvenated after a few days of just being with nature.
Right. Yeah, it's very grounding and centering. Just becoming what you are.
Yeah, we are a part of
know?
nature. I think we like to
Yeah.
look at ourselves as this separate
A
thing.
separate thing, yeah.
Yeah, but we're just animals. We're
Absolutely.
a part of it.
That's the way I see it too, man. It's just like I borrowed this skin suit,
Yeah, dude.
from nature, and my consciousness or whatever you want to call it, my soul is inhabiting this body
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna use the shit out of it.
How did you get to that understanding that you felt like you have a body, right? Like you're not necessarily are your body.
The biggest thing that happened to me was actually during that 100-mile race at Shawnee Hills National Forest, because I was pushing myself so hard that I almost hit a point where I just didn't care what happened to me, because I was in grief from my mother's passing a few months before I started that race. I had just gotten out of a relationship, and so I was just like in a dark place.
Yeah, it's a lot of heavy changes.
Yeah, just like all this crazy shit. And then I remember being like, let me see what I can do what can my body do? And then, like, as I was telling you earlier with my cramping, the moment I knew I wasn't my body is when my legs were shutting down, and I was like, "No, you're not.
Mm.
I'm committing to this, and you're just gonna have to do what I'm telling you to do." And my body followed suit, and it's like, because I think what happens is like your brain tells your body to stop. It's like a defense mechanism. But if you can go past that and be like, "Yo, there's more left here. There's definitely more. We just got to tap into that because we
Yeah.
haven't yet, or I haven't yet." So once I tapped into that, I was like, "All right, this is not me. I'm not shutting down. My body's shutting down, but I'm in charge here.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just go." And that's what happened. And that at that moment, I was like, "There's more to me than this. This is not me. When I look in the mirror, that's not me. That's my body, but that's not me."
Right.
And that can be shocking to a lot of people to hear, but that's just how I see things now.
Dude, I think that's a very like powerful realization, in the sense of like first, I mean, you said a few different important things there, but like first, I think Goggin talks about this since we're talking about running is, he's like that moment where you want to quit. I think he says like you're really only at like 40%, I think is what he
Oh
says.
yeah, I think he does say that. Yeah.
But it's like, dude, there's like you're hitting a wall, like you can bust past that wall. And like once you go through that wall, it's so liberating to
It
get on
is.
the other side of that.
Yeah.
Like you have so much more potential in you than people realize. It's like you got to tap into your mind and it's like, listen, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And be the fucking boss of the body, right?
Yeah.
It's a very powerful realization, dude. I mean, you can do so much.
You can do so much, and sometimes your mind, you have to go even past that.
Yeah. Yeah, cuz your mind would tell you to quit too.
Your mind's gonna tell you to quit, and it's like, all right, so if that's telling me to quit, what's beyond that?
Mm.
And to me, that's the is consciousness,
Yeah.
and the thing that's going through all of us. It's like this flow of energy, this constant flow of energy.
Yes.
And so you, like, tap into that and be like, all right, so you want me to stop? I'm not stopping. We're gonna go, and we're gonna fight.
Yeah.
And then, and that's it, man.
That's
You just
it.
gotta keep going. And then you get past that wall, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I only got 50 more miles to go now, but we're gonna do this.
You're going to
thing.
do it halfway
Yeah.
there, dude.
So you gotta keep doing that. But there's something funny about just being in nature and thinking that things are going so shitty, and it's I'll tell you, like, what happened to me. It was dark in the Shawnee Hills 100. It was dark. It was probably 4 in the morning. I wore a headlamp. My batteries died. So I'm literally just like in the woods by myself in the darkness.
Dude.
And I'm just like, this is it. This is how I die.
They're going to find me in the morning.
They're gonna find me in the morning. I'm gonna be a corpse on the side of the trail, eaten by coyotes, because they were out there. I could hear them. But yeah, I just remember being like, everything will be fine once the sun comes up. And I shit you not, man. The moment that sun came up, I felt rejuvenated again. I felt like I slept, which is weird, and I felt like a new person. And then I was about 80 miles into the race at that point. So I had 20 more miles to go. But I felt great, man. Because I think just like having that second wind of the next day
Yeah.
makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it's like the new day brought new energy for you.
Yeah, new energy, just like feeling the rays of the sun just enveloping me. I felt alive again.
Yeah. Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like you're like out there like, holy shit, it's dark right now.
Yeah.
I hear coyotes and who knows whatever else is out there.
Yeah.
You can't see anything.
Can't see shit.
Fuck, dude, you're probably a little tired at that time, right?
Super fucking tired.
Whoa, we want to talk about a moment of truth.
Moment of truth, absolutely, man. But it just goes to show you, like, you can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it. So, like, a lot of people will be like, I don't want to do that. I can't run. I can't even run a mile. I was like, well, first off, do you want to? Like, no one's telling you to.
Yeah.
It's up to you. But you can.
Yeah.
If you really want to.
You really can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, don't say you can't.
Right.
I heard something, maybe it was yesterday or something. Like, just say, like, I haven't done it yet.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, because you fucking can. I don't know, man. I'm just such a big believer on just the human potential. I mean, it's basically the whole basis of like my brand imposed will, right?
Yes.
Which is just like mindset and
Hmm.
like and pushing past and like being disciplined and just doing the things that you set your mind out to do. Like
Hmm.
we're all powerful beings, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. All of us.
Yeah. I learned a lot of that one through wrestling. Like I learned that idea of you can hit a wall and then push past it. There's a lot more there than you realize through
Hmm.
wrestling. But then that whole concept of like I'm more than my body, that
Yeah.
came through psychedelics.
Oh wow.
And it was
Yeah.
just like, dude, I had a very powerful like DMT trip.
Hmm.
And it was the first time I did it. And it was just it just overcame. I don't know if have you ever done
No, I
psychedelics or
never have. No.
so it's like it was a very it's hard to really put into words, but like just it came on very fast, faster than I was anticipating. Like I had one expectation based off like other psychedelic experiences,
Hmm.
and then I did this thing at DMT, which is I don't know, man. It's like LSD wrapped in mushrooms times 10. Like it's fucking
Mm.
like it's wild. And like I think as Joe Rogan says, like add aliens in there or something. It's wild shit.
Got you.
So like I
Yeah.
did this thing and it came on very quick, and it was very discombobulating.
Hmm.
And throughout this experience, like I'm still very much me, but I was not in my body anymore. Like I
Yeah.
went to a place that is not of this place,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like it was
Totally.
very scary, and I didn't know which way was up, and it was just very discombobulating, like I said. But when it was finally over, like one, I felt like I was gonna be there forever.
Hmm.
And the only time I can ever like truly wrap my mind around what forever means
Hmm.
is when I'm on psychedelics. It's like there's
There's
this
no time.
there is no time. Time
Yeah.
doesn't exist, and then the concept of forever is palatable. Like this is just forever. Like I understand it.
Hmm.
And so either way, like I finally came to is like I ended up I was just sitting on my couch like curled up like in the
Yeah.
corner like this. I'm like, what the fuck was that? And like I had to chew on that for a
Wow.
little bit, dude. And I think I realized one like what made me so scared was like obviously just the experience of just like not knowing where I'm at and all the shit, but it's like it was the very first time where I was still me, but I was not my body. Like my
Hmm.
body was not there. So what I look at in the mirror, what I always associated with as this is Adam,
Hmm.
that was not it. Like I was still me, but my body was not there anymore. And I came to this realization that like, whoa, like I have a body. I am not my body. Whatever I am, whatever my life force is, you call it the soul or whatever words we like to put on these things.
Yeah.
I just realized it's not what I thought it was.
Right.
It
Exactly.
was some wild shit. And I think through subsequent like experience with psychedelics, it's really kind of helped me come to terms with just like my own understanding of like God and different things. Because
Hmm.
like I grew up in a very religious family,
Me too.
and like I'm not really into the religions and
Right.
shit.
Uh-huh.
But and even so much so to where like that word God can be kind of weird because you say God and everybody always goes to like the Christianity version of
Right.
what
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
means, and it's like no, dude, like I'm really starting to learn like God. I believe God is real. Whatever this higher energy or life form, call it the universe or whatever you want to call it,
Right.
like that is real, and we are all a part of that thing.
Hmm.
And
Yeah. I agree.
it's powerful shit, dude.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. And yeah. Yeah. You saw it through psychedelics. And I saw it through just thinking I was gonna die.
Yeah, like you
You
put
know?
yourself in probably very because you
Yeah.
can get to that same. I mean, people do it with yoga all the time.
Hmm.
And through breath work and different things. So like you
Hmm.
can get yourself into these places, obviously if you push yourself to the point of where you're about to die.
Yeah. Just like pushing and yeah. Just that exhaustion and almost like fear, but also this elation of this isn't me. There's more
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
Like you said, whatever you want to call it. That's us. That's the real us.
Yeah.
But in order for us to experience that, we have to be here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is I think being a human is our tool to that higher consciousness
Yeah.
because we are able to realize who we are by being human. To be fully human is to know what's beyond just this.
Have you ever heard like the theory of like we're all just like God experiencing
Mhm.
itself,
Yeah.
like the universe experience itself, whatever
Yeah,
consciousness
yeah.
is. It kind of
Yeah.
makes sense
Mhm.
in a way, because I can remember like whenever you kind of like cross over to this place, it's like whatever the space that you're in, you are part of it. Like it is you and you are it. And there's
Hmm.
this connectedness and this oneness and like this peace, if you will,
Yeah.
like this love,
Yeah.
like it's all there.
Hmm.
It's like, man, we all are very much more alike than we aren't.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like we're all, people say it all the time. We're all connected, but everything's connected.
Yeah.
Everything,
Yeah.
and everything we do is a vibration from what we're all feeling.
Right.
It's like how we respond, our reactions to everything. It all makes sense. Even when things don't seem like they do at the time, it'll play out all right. But I think it's just it's important to realize that um, we are not just this, but to respect what we are at the same time,
Yeah.
and not to just like disregard the body, because sometimes people will get so far deep into like the other side that they totally disregard the body.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what that's called, but yeah.
I don't know, man, but we're all energy at the end
Yeah.
of the day, whatever this is. Like, we're all connected, which it probably lends to, like, your passion with music, right? Like,
Hmm.
dude, I love I love listening to music anyway. Like, I'm not,
Yeah,
like, I
yeah.
don't play instruments or anything, but, I mean, there's just something very special about music. I mean, you talk
Hmm.
about vibrations, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
literally what music is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
wild shit, dude. How long you been playing? You play the guitar?
Yeah, I've been playing guitar since I was 9.
Dude.
Yeah.
So it's like second nature. You don't even have to think about it.
And it kind of depends, because I'm not like the most technical guitarist,
Okay.
but I'm big on like melody and like making weird sounds and weird chords. That's kind of like what I find my strength is. So you won't really see me like shredding a whole bunch or anything like that. But yeah, I just been playing guitar since I was 9, and it just seems to be the most. It just resonates with me the most out of any other instrument I've ever played.
Yeah.
Um, but I'll play drums. I'll sing, obviously, and play some keyboards and piano. But for whatever reason, it's the guitar and voice that I like to work with the most. I feel the most comfortable doing those.
Okay. Are you self-taught, or did you have an instructor as a kid?
Yeah, I took guitar lessons for like a couple of years, I think. But it wasn't consistent because I was a kid.
Yeah.
So my mom would take me once a week, if that. But a lot of it was like self-taught, because the style that he was teaching me was like it was very country based,
Oh, okay.
and I wasn't really, it was the 90s. So
You
I
don't love
wanted
country music?
I like some
I'm
of
just-
it.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but yeah, it was like, so I'm trained in that, oddly. But yeah, man, I wanted to play grunge.
Yeah.
So
I could see that.
yeah,
We said it was the 90s, right?
it was the 90s.
So, I mean, yeah, dude, I mean, that was definitely the grunge era, dude.
the
Like,
grunge,
how many bands were coming out of Portland? I mean,
Shoot, man.
Nirvana was out of Portland, right?
They're from
Seattle?
Seattle,
Seattle,
yeah.
rather. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, all those bands were they were on the uprising.
That was like the scene at the time.
That was the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of that. All of that, like, yeah, Soundgarden and Dinosaur Jr. and, yeah, Nirvana was big on that, of course, and Bush. I used to listen to
Yeah,
Bush a lot.
Bush was
and,
cool.
yeah.
Is Matchbox 20 grunge? They're not really grunge, are they?
I think they're considered more like alt rock
Okay,
at that
yeah.
time, because they had like
Poppy.
yeah, kind of poppy, and
Yeah.
that was really popular then too.
Yeah.
Like around like 95, 96, I think.
Yeah.
Or yeah, around that time. And I still really like that stuff too.
I like all of this shit.
Yeah, and like
I listen to so much just different, conflicting genres of music.
yeah, me too, man. Me too. Yeah.
Dude, when I was a kid, like in the 90s, I used to watch, I used to love watching, like MTV and seeing, fucking like Limp Bizkit and like Korn.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah.
then turn around and they have like Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera.
Dude.
I loved it all, dude.
I loved it all. I still listen to some of that stuff.
Do you?
I actually revisited that first Korn album. I can't remember. It was before Life is Peachy. I don't know if it's just self-titled.
It might be self-titled or it's Freak. I think it's self-titled because I think Freak
it
on a
is,
Leash
yeah.
is the name of a song, not the name of an album.
Yeah, that was like later when they were already popular.
Yeah, let's look it up real fast.
Yeah, yeah.
So we can know.
But it's wild that Korn at that time, that sound, I feel as though they were like the starters of that that style of music.
Were they?
Yeah, I think so. Just like that weird, like down tuning, almost kind of rappy,
Mm-hmm.
sorta. I can't even.
They're definitely game changers.
Yeah, game changers for sure. But
Yes, it looks like their first album was in '94. Yeah, it's just self-titled Corn. Yep, and
gotcha.
then Life is Peachy is the next one. And
Yeah.
then Fall of the Leader. That's what I'm thinking of.
Follow the leader.
Dude,
Yeah.
that album right there, bro.
Yeah.
Holy shit! It went 5 times so it says I don't know what these mean. RIAA 5 times platinum. Maybe these are just different. If these are all legitimate, that album alone, 5, 8, fucking 11 times platinum.
That's wild.
Dude,
That's wild.
What?
It's amazing.
Holy cow! Yeah, that is insane, dude.
Insanely successful.
Dude,
man.
that was a crazy. Yeah, I think that shows like that's when they got. Well, all their albums are platinum.
Wow.
Korn was at least 3 times platinum. Another 3 times here on Life is Peachy. Dude, they're just a hell of a band.
Yeah.
Dude, have you ever seen them live?
I've never seen them live.
Do you go to a lot of
Yeah.
live music? I mean, you
I used
perform.
to. Yeah, I used to. I'm kind of weird in crowds.
Are you?
Yeah, so I generally don't go to a lot of shows, but it's not that I don't enjoy it. But I'm perfectly okay just listening to music.
I prefer studio music over live music personally.
Yeah.
I've only gone to less than a handful of actual live events, and every time I'm never really like super impressed. To be honest with you, it's like I mean I get it,
Yeah.
but I actually just enjoy I just like listening to it in my headphones. I enjoy that.
Yeah.
I enjoy that more.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm glad you're honest about that. Honestly, yeah, that's refreshing to hear. That 'cause I enjoy seeing a band live. I like the energy, and I also like to see if what they're doing can be performed live.
Yeah, I can see that.
But there's a lot of times when I see a band and it is quite emotional. It's quite moving. My first concert that I got to see post pandemic was this band called Bright Eyes,
Okay.
and they played at the pageant. And this band is like a big part of my life. Like I feel as though they're groundbreaking in the way that they do things. Like I would consider them some of the most like early emo style music.
Okay.
And nowadays people call what they call emo is not what I would call it. But
How was emo defined today, you think?
oh gosh, I don't even. It's more. I mean, yeah, they're talking about breakups and whatever, but it just seems so polished compared to like the bands that I listen to that we used to call emo music, which would be like this band called like the Get Up Kids from Kansas City, Bright Eyes, Death Cab for Cutie, like that kind of stuff.
You think the earlier emo was just kind of just more raw
It's
and
definitely raw, more like emotionally driven.
okay.
Yeah, not polished. Really from the heart.
Yeah, now I imagine because emo's kind of been established. You're probably getting kids who are just trying to replicate a sound
Yeah,
as opposed to like
creating it.
creating or expressing themselves.
Right.
And this is the sound,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, they're just
So let me
Yeah.
make an emo record. How's it supposed to sound? And then they just mimic what they've seen before.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
And they can do that now because it's all been done.
Yeah.
You know, before these people were, who knows where they were taking their ideas from. But yeah, nowadays, like I'll hear a new band and I'm thinking like, they're just doing what other people are doing. Like they're putting their spin on it a little bit, but it's not like, it doesn't feel as authentic.
Yeah.
So when I play music and I write music, I'm never trying to sound like something. I'm just playing what I feel. Or like if I pick up a guitar and I start strumming a song, I just hear it and then I feel like I'm the conduit for what's happening. And like so I'll hear it and then I'll play it and then it just becomes something. Even when I write lyrics, it's the same way. It could be totally blank, and then I'll write a line, and then all these other things will come. I'll play the melody on the guitar, and then I swear it just like starts to open up itself. I'm just the one that's doing it.
Yeah.
It's just like
Dude, that's the beauty of like creating.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like, where does an idea come from? You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Oftentimes, you can almost guarantee if you've had an idea, maybe somebody else will or has, or but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. You
Right.
know what I mean? Because I mean, there's your own self-expression that comes out when you do these things, but it's like, dude, where does that come from? Like, where
Right.
does that book come from? Where does that song come from? Like,
Yeah.
where did that lyric come from?
Yeah.
You don't know. It's just like in the
It's
ether
just
somewhere,
yeah,
dude.
it's just floating, and you just have to snatch it.
Yeah, dude. There's no feeling like when you create something, dude.
Oh man,
Oh, dude,
it's wonderful.
it really
Yeah.
is. Like when I was a kid,
Hmm.
I grew up listening to a lot of rap, so like,
Hmm.
I'd write lyrics and stuff, or just now with business, I do a lot of creating just through clothes and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's like, man, it's just so cool to have an idea, and sometimes to your point, you don't know where that idea comes from, but then it's like there's a physical manifestation somehow in this world, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Whether it's a T-shirt or a song or like I said, a book or something,
Yeah.
it's a very powerful thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, dude.
Absolutely. Yeah. Totally agree. Um,
Dude, it's wild. It's wild, man.
yeah.
So you you're performing, right? You have a band. You're telling me about that before, like you're
Yeah.
practicing with your band. Like,
I
tell
just
me more.
joined a band.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you always been in a band of some sort, or has it always been kind of like more of a solo endeavor, or what?
Yeah. I started playing bands when I was in seventh grade.
Okay.
So I just always been like either singing or playing guitar.
I'm sure you drove your mom crazy.
Yeah. I used to drive my dad crazy when he was around. But my mom was very supportive of like anything I wanted to do, like whether it be skateboarding, music, martial arts. She was always like, "Yeah, whatever you want to do." She was down.
Oh, cool.
So she like bought me my first guitar. She bought me a drum set. That's like what my dad didn't want and all that stuff.
I would
so.
not want that.
I understand
as a
yeah.
dad.
Yeah, I get it now. Like, but man, yeah. So I felt very supported by my mom.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
So starting in bands when you were younger.
yeah, I started in band when I was super young, and then yeah, did my own thing for a good minute, and once in high school played in bands. Out of high school played in bands. Um, played a lot of solo stuff too, and then once I got into running, the band stuff kind of went away for a few years.
Because you're just
Actually.
busy doing your own thing.
Yeah, and I got burnt out. Yeah, I got burnt out of like. It sounds so silly to say this now as I think about it. Just being creative. I got burnt out on being creative.
I think that happens a lot.
Yeah, I didn't want to write. I didn't want to play guitar. I didn't want to do anything. So I just focused on running.
That's okay too.
Yeah, at that time, I think it was what I needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like now I can appreciate music again, and I think if I didn't take that hiatus, I would have. I don't know who's to say what would have happened,
Yeah.
but I think it was needed.
There's a lot to say, to sticking to things,
Mm-hmm.
but there's also a very valuable thing in knowing that, like, man, like this just isn't serving me anymore.
Yeah.
And it's okay to let things go and move on to something else.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to your to where you're at, like, you came back to it, right? So like
Yeah.
you're in a new band now. You
Yeah.
guys got shows and stuff coming
Um,
up or anything?
Not quite yet.
No?
Yeah.
You guys
we are in the.
You guys are all new, just kind of.
Yeah. So these guys are already established. They're called Giants in the Sky, and their singer left. I don't know the situation. So anyway, they asked me to come in and sing
So your lead vocals.
some lead vocals and playing guitar.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
What? I've never listened to you actually perform it. Like, what's your style of vocal? Like, is it like more like a singing? I don't know how
Yeah.
to say it because I feel like there's some people who are like like screamo, like they're fucking
Mhm.
out there just
Just screaming their heads
screaming
off.
their fucking. Which there's a lot of technique to
Which is
that as
cool,
well,
yeah.
right? But
I like that stuff too.
does yours have more melody to it?
Yeah,
or-
I'm definitely more melody driven.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say I'm melody driven, but definitely not afraid to yell or scream when I feel like it's appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not like gonna do all
Yeah.
one thing. I like to do it all. Yeah,
Can I expect a mosh pit at your show?
I sure hope so. I like a good pit, man.
Things aren't going right if there's not a pit. Dude, those things kind of scare me, bro.
Yeah,
dude,
they can be intimidating.
bro, some of those dudes just get in there and they're just, you can tell they're just looking to hit somebody.
Yeah,
It's like,
the hardcore stuff.
Like, why are you
that.
swinging so hard?
I know, man. Yeah, I understand. When I was going to shows when I was younger, I was intimidated. I was like, oh shit, man, like someone's gonna beat me up.
I want to get punched in the face.
Yeah,
I could get maybe like getting like jumping around and like shoving and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen some of those pits where like there's not even a lot of people in there, but you see like this one dude just fucking straight arm,
Yeah,
just like
yeah, windmilling it and all that
Bro.
craziness. Yeah,
that scares me.
yeah, I'm not down with that. I don't understand like why that's a thing, but it is. It's part of that
It's
culture.
just the culture, man.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been in there and been hit though?
Yeah, I was the first time I got hit was at it was actually a Deftones show.
Oh really?
Yeah, this dude just like kicked me on the back of the head.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
What'd you do?
I don't know. I didn't know what happened to him.
You didn't know. You
this
just know you
grade.
got hit.
Yeah, yes, I just like, because I was in the pit, and yeah, I'll never forget because it hurt like hell.
Yeah. It's like that's a concussion.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit. I
Dude.
was like, I guess this is what concerts are like. So I used to like have to like pump myself up to like go.
Yeah, like you're going into battle a little
Yeah,
bit, bro.
it's like, oh my god.
So
But-
are the mosh pits at your shows a little bit more tame?
Um,
You would hope.
I would hope
at
so.
least.
Yeah, I don't think we're even gonna play anything remotely hard enough for people to really get that wild.
Okay.
But right now, it's kind of hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're in our late 30s now. So.
No one's trying to go crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, you look like you're
changed.
like 26 at most, bro.
Oh, I appreciate it.
So,
Thank
like,
you.
that's
Yeah,
definitely-
you look young too.
Thanks.
So that's good.
I try to keep that energy at all times.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
dude, when I'm 40, like, just keep thinking I'm in
Keep
my
it.
20s. Like, please
Yeah.
do. Joe's like that too, though. He's super youthful.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
only a year older than me.
Yeah.
Well, he'll be 38 in November.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're right around the same age.
The fucking yoga guru. He's probably the one getting you into more yoga now, right?
It's
is that just
actually my
you?
friend Courtney.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she actually did a Reiki session on me last week.
How
And
was that?
You know, I was really apprehensive because I've never done like energy work like that
I'm
before.
super skeptical of Reiki.
Right, me too. But I swear, man, it was like, I don't know if it's just like because I know her
Mm-hmm.
and I trusted her, but I actually felt like a difference.
You felt
I felt
better.
so chill. I felt so chill after that. Yeah. And I don't know if it's like because she was like pulling all this craziness out of me. But yeah, I felt like I got a massage, if not better than that.
Okay.
It was nuts.
I can see the benefit in the sense of, like I said earlier, you know, I really believe we're all just energy,
Mm-hmm.
and like, you know, energy can be transferred, and you can do some manipulation there. But what gets me is that word healing. Like when they're like,
Oh, the healing
Yeah, they're like,
aspect, yeah.
you're like, what are we healing sometimes?
Right.
And then is it just placebo? Which I don't actually I don't discredit placebo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me either.
Because what you're saying when you say there was a placebo is that your mind just healed the body. Like you
Yeah.
just healed yourself. Whether it's you took a sugar pill or whatever the case may be, like
Right.
you just healed yourself. That's super powerful. We like to just brush that off as calling it the placebo, but it's like,
Yeah.
hold up, there's something really powerful here. We actually can't explain it, so we just call it this thing. So there is power in that for sure.
Yeah, that's a big. We talked about that actually, and so, like me being a massage therapist, like I'm never. Some people call themselves a healer, but the way I see it is I'm just helping the body figure out what's going on and helping make that connection for your body to help heal itself. But yeah, the word healing is it's a bit triggering for me because like clients will be like, fix me, and I'm like, let me go get my magic wand. What do you want me to do? You know, like I'm just trying to like work out these knots. Like that's really the extent of it.
Yeah. You're supposed to have all of the answers.
I'm supposed to have
DJ.
all the answers and know everything that's wrong. Yeah.
It's like, let me just start massaging your. Oh yeah, this is really messed up here. You should really be I don't know.
Yeah, you should be eating more carrots.
Yeah, eat
I
more
don't know.
carrots and
But people do that, and that's what's so sick. You know, people will tell people that kind of shit, and it's
Yeah.
just not true.
Yeah, you know, I used to be a personal trainer when I was younger, and I found that there are a good amount of people who just want to be told what to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
I agree with that.
and you kind of even see it in today's climate where it's like, this is kind of one of the scary things. Like I told you, I was reading like, you know, the fourth turning and The True Believers, what the book was called. And it's just talking about, like, one of the key things I talked about was how humans as a whole are very quick to trade freedom for security.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you want to not necessarily have the responsibility of like making your own choices,
Right.
which could lead to failure. So you'll trade in just being secure and having somebody tell you what to do for your freedom, which
Mm-hmm.
I'm not with that shit, but
Yeah, me either.
it's a part of human nature, and
Mm-hmm.
you can see it in the very small way of, it's like, hey, tell me exactly what I should be eating and how much I should be eating, or what exercise I should be
Yeah.
doing and how much, and all they just want
All the
every
things.
little thing's told to them. It's like,
It's
man,
like religion, you know.
yeah,
Tell me what to believe. Tell me what to do.
yeah.
It's the same shit.
It's like, dude, just
You gotta figure it out on your own.
figure it out, man. There's no one size
There's no
fits
one
all
size fit
answer.
all. Definitely not.
Figure that
Yeah.
shit out, dude.
Yeah. That's how I see it, man.
Yeah.
Like and that's how I try to live my life. But I didn't reach this point until, later in life, being like, all right, this isn't working for me, this particular belief system. But what value am I getting from this?
Mhm.
So what is it telling me to do? Well, it's telling me to go my own way, really, and whatever way that is how, or whatever way that is my experience. So my experience is only my experience, and so I'm not going to let someone tell me how to live my life.
Yeah.
Because I'm the only one in charge. I'm responsible for what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
No one else.
Yeah. It's a good way to live, dude.
Yeah.
It's like a good perspective to have.
Yeah.
Especially, and I think maybe I think about it maybe a little bit more now because my kids are, they're 14 and 12, and my
Mhm.
son's a freshman in high school.
Wow.
And I can very vividly remember being a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
And, when you're in high school, dude, it's like they're telling, it's always like, what's next? All right, so what are you going to do next? Like, you're going to go to college, you're going to go to the military, you're going to, like, what are you going to do? And then, it's like if you don't go to college, typically, you kind of feel like you're a loser, or like
Right.
you don't got your shit together.
Right.
But it's
yeah.
like, that's not the path by
Right.
any stretch of the imagination for everybody, or for a lot of people anymore in today's society, right?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things to where, like, I tell my kids, like, man, just like, you don't have to do these things that you're being told what to do just because society is telling you to do it, because
Mhm.
a lot of what society is doing is just kind of like putting these constraints on you.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, just figure it out. Like, life is long. There's no one right way to do anything.
Man, that's awesome that you're his dad to tell him that kind of shit.
The problem is they don't listen.
Yeah.
When you're a dad, or whenever you're hearing it from a parent, it's like,
It doesn't really register. It will later.
hopefully,
Yeah.
but yeah,
He'll be like, oh yeah, I remember my dad told me that. So I think about that stuff and things my parents used to tell me, and now I'm like, damn, they were right.
right, dude, yeah. It's such a weird thing, perspective. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it wasn't that long ago where we were those kids,
Yeah,
right?
true.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just the adults just telling you what to do, and it's like they don't fucking know.
Right.
But it's like, dude, I've walked a very similar path to you. I understand. You know what I mean? But it's just weird. The only way to get perspective a lot of times is just by living life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to live it. Just got to be in it.
Yeah.
Experience it.
Yeah, dude.
You know?
You're gonna fuck up. You're
You're
gonna
gonna
fall.
fuck up. Yeah, shit's gonna go wrong, but you know what? That's part of it.
Yeah, man.
It really is.
But
Yeah.
that is the beauty of being a human,
Absolutely.
dude.
Yeah.
EJ, we've been going for almost an hour and a half, my dude.
Oh wow.
I know, right? Time
Crazy.
flies, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there
Well,
anything
thank
you
you.
want to? Yeah, dude. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm so stoked that you did this.
Man, I'm stoked to be here. This is rad.
Is there anything that you want to like direct the people to, or if they wanted to check you out, socials or anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. I just go by at EJ Arroyo _ on Instagram. That's my main platform. Or for like my music, my running, that's just what I use.
Dope.
It seems to be the most accessible.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude. I appreciate you, EJ.
Thank you so much, man.
All right, everybody. Till next time.